Oh, we're live. All right.
Hi Phil, hi Mia.
Hi, everyone.
Hello everybody. I'll give usually I'll wait about 1 minute and then we'll start and then let the rest of people join. I've been there's tons of online learning and meeting today.
Yeah. I'm excited.
All right. Okay. So, hello everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Anthony from Celebrate Code. It's either you follow Natasha or myself. This is pertaining to this very interesting project that I'm running from January to June this year, which is the first digital dollar project, where I actually interview and talk to 20 different solopreneurs with different offers, different products, and different journeys. And then what we do is we talk about the moment they earn their first digital dollar. All right. So every week we will have different contributor. Tuesday the post will be out, and then Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, one of these days, I will go on live with that particular contributor. So I have here today Natasha with me. She's a journalist and author. Right, her work appear in Washington Post, Esquire, and more. She is the author of 2 books. If you want to find out what her books are, you can ask her separately. I find them very interesting. The titles, especially, right? But she's now helping writers and founders turn their story into books, which is something uh, very interesting, right? And then through ghostwriting and book coaching, especially the book coaching part, right? So this is something that if you are keen, just ask her in the chat box, right? And then we'll try to as much as possible to fish all the information, all the secret recipe from her. All right. Okay. So I'll hand over to Natasha. Okay, give us a very quick intro about yourself, Natasha.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very honored to be part of the first dollar
The honor
project.
is mine.
Huh?
The honor
Can you
is
hear
mine.
me? Huh? Can you
The
hear me?
honor is mine. Yes, we can hear
Okay.
you.
All right. And a bit about me. So yeah, my name is Natasha Tynes. I was born in Amman, Jordan, and I've been living in the US for almost 20 years. So you can call me Jordanian American. I've been working as a journalist for over 25 years. I started in Amman, Jordan, and then I worked in different countries. As you said, my work appeared in the Washington Post, El Magazine, Esquire, and then 5 years ago, I started my own small media boutique where I help people publish their book, either through ghostwriting or through book coaching. I continue to publish books. I continue to work as a journalist, mostly in local publications here around the Maryland, D.C. area. And yeah, I love Substack. I'm always on Substack. I meet a lot of amazing people like you, for example, and I'm very passionate about it. And I'm happy to talk about how I made my first dollar online, or how to monetize your writing, how to publish books, whatever you guys want to discuss. I'm happy to discuss it.
Okay, so on to the first question. So, uh, this conversation will revolve around the post that Natasha sent out on Tuesday, right? So, if you haven't read the post, you can read it after the live.
Okay.
So, uh, this very important first question I wanted to ask is like, inside you wrote about that you have been writing for 25 years
Mhm.
and then you're being paid by everybody, but then you realize you never sell anything yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So at which point, at which point did you suddenly say, "Hey, how come I never sell for myself?"
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as I said in the post, so the first time I got paid for my writing was in the 90s. I'm that old. And I was I was 19 years old actually. And but the difference was that people hired me to write for them, right, as a journalist. So whether as a freelance journalist or a full-time journalist, people would hire me and they commission me an article, and I would write the article for them, and then they would pay me, right? And whether the article appears in print or in a magazine or online, I get paid for it. So that's been kind of the trajectory most of my life. But then I started following people online and talking about like how you can like financial freedom, how you can actually run your own business, and I did not quite understand what they were talking about until I sold my first course. And as I said in the post, it was through an education program called Maven. And I was very nervous. Although I have like 25 years of experience, I could not fathom the idea that somebody would actually pay me directly to teach them or to run a course, and not through a third party, right? So, and the way this Maven platform work is just a marketplace. So I would just put my course there, and the idea that I can actually build something on my own and people would pull out their credit card and pay me was mind blowing for me, and it opened this huge world of opportunities. Like if I can get paid for a course, why not for a digital product? Why not for another cohort? Why not for a teaching program? And what I was suffering from, I think, is imposter syndrome, and I was still in kind of the corporate mentality, or the idea of being a follower of the gatekeeper. If the gatekeeper tells me to do this, I will do it. And the idea of me getting rid of the gatekeeper and doing it on my own was completely mind blowing, and it was completely life changing, to the degree now. For me, my what I do is, or my kind of day to day is like a game. Life is a game. Like, okay, I can build this, I can do that, and I have the experience, I have the knowledge, I have the know-how, and I can really help people with all the experience that I have. And that for me was really life changing when I realized that.
Yeah. So you mentioned Maven. When I read your story, I also immediately go and look up Maven. So
Yeah,
you want to tell us a bit more about Maven, and because you actually had to apply as an instructor.
correct,
So
correct.
it's not really a full LMS whereby you just create an account and then launch yourself. You actually need to go through the approval process. You want to tell us
Correct.
more about that?
Yeah. So Maven is a marketplace for experienced instructors to teach people online. There's a lot of stuff about AI, project management, and since my background is in writing and publishing, so my first course was how to monetize your writing. And as you said, they don't accept everyone to put their courses there. You have to have a very high level of experience to put it there. So I applied and they accepted me, and they actually trained me for free, which was really nice. So they trained me how to teach, and then that's it. And then I can create whatever I want to. I can set the price as I want to. I am the one who gets the people. I'm the one who does the marketing, all of that. They help a bit with the marketing, but it's kind of all on me. um so yeah, so based on that, I was accepted, which I and I still have courses there. I've been kind of busy to run a cohort, but I can, like, anytime I can open the cohort there and start teaching and accepting applicants. So yeah, so that is the Maven, and it was um founded by the people who did Udemy, the co-founder of Udemy,
Mm,
another education program. They
yep,
founded Maven. Yeah,
yep. So to iterate, it's only available for live courses, right?
correct. It's live cohorts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, viewers out there, if you are interested in Maven, just be sure that it's not on-demand recording. It's
Yeah.
all live courses which you have to be there together with your cohort, and they run by cohorts. Yeah,
Correct.
correct.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and I honestly I like this format because it's interactive, it's live. We can go into separate Zoom rooms and we do exercises. And if for some reason you cannot attend the live cohort, you can watch the recording. But the whole idea is that you get me live, you get the instructor live. You ask me anytime, we can interact, we can do exercises together. I also brought in guest speakers, which was really nice. So I can, I can design the cohorts whatever I want to. They taught me, the kind of ins and outs of teaching, what works, what does not work, and that was very helpful. It kind of sharpened my skills.
Nice. Okay, so those of you interested, go and check out Maven. The next question I want to ask you, you price your first cohort at $100.
Yeah, it was.
Any was it plug and play, or do you have any strategy behind that pricing model?
I think the strategy was fear, honestly, and I priced it. It's very very low at 100. It was my first cohort, and I spent, oh my god, I spent so much time preparing. uh like I spent months preparing for it, and I priced it at $100 because first of all I just wanted, it was my first time doing it and I wanted the testimonial. And for me, the first cohort, I wanted the testimonial. So I knew that I would gonna lose money because the amount of time that I spent was just a lot. But one is I wanted the testimonial, and two, I was operating out of fear. Is like who. Imposter syndrome. Like who's gonna pay me, right? And I thought $100 is like it's a lot of money to pay me. Who am I to get paid? Like that kind of mindset. Although I have a master's in journalism, I'm published books. I worked as a journalist for 25 years. I'm published in one of the best publications in the world, and I still had that fear. But then I started, and then I ran multiple cohorts there, and I started increasing them gradually. So now I run a cohort for like $500 per person. So like I went from 100 to 500, but I had to work on myself, my mindset, all of that stuff.
Okay, so inside the chat, Monica has this very interesting question. All right, she asked you, when you first started out, did you ever worry about that people feel what you have to offer is not good enough, right? And then, if so, how do you react? Are you mentally prepared to react to such negative feedback?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about being a published author, since I was 19 years old, I'm 49 now, so that's 30 years of publishing. It's a long time. Is I've seen it all. I've seen the good feedback and the negative feedback, and people always have opinion on anything you publish, right? Whether it's an article, whether it's an essay, whether it's an opinion, whether it's a book, people always have an opinion. So dealing with feedback was something that I've been dealing with 30 years, and I developed a thick skin. Yeah. Yeah, of course I cried and whatever, and I was like, I want to quit writing. I'm not good enough, whatever, those things that you go through. But you cry for a couple of days and then you get over it. And but I of course I worried it wasn't good enough, but at the same time I had to keep talking to myself, right? Like, Natasha, you're good, you have the experience, like, what's wrong with you? Stop doubting yourself. And I was like, okay, if there was a negative feedback, I'm gonna take it as a data point, like, okay, what didn't work, and I'm gonna improve it for the next time. And I also offered them a refund, so if they thought what I offered them was like uh, was not beneficial, like, fine, here is your $100 back. I will take this as a lesson learned. I will take this data and I learned from it. So it's all about how you talk to your mind. What do you tell yourself?
Yeah. So I think the second question that Monica asked, I think Natasha already slightly answered, right?
How do I psych myself out
Right.
of it? Yeah,
you convince yourself.
yeah. So Monica, basically, the response is I keep telling myself, what is the worst case scenario? Okay, what's the worst that's gonna happen? I'm not gonna go to jail, right? And what's gonna happen? The worst case scenario is that they don't like the course. I'll give them their money back. That is the worst case scenario, and eventually you have to take that leap of faith. You have to trust your gut and always say, okay, what's the worst that's gonna happen? I refund them. That's it. I mean, there's not the end of the word. So it's really how you talk to yourself is when you actually decide to jump in the ocean, right? And take that leap of faith.
Yeah, I know Monica is trying to launch something herself because she's one of my paid subscribers. So yeah.
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So, the next question is also interesting, revolving around your launch strategy, because in your entire post you talk about your launch strategy. You only do one foreign post,
Correct. Yeah. I
right?
did foreign post and then I put like something on LinkedIn, I think, or Facebook, something
Yeah.
stupid. Like I, uh,
What a way to describe your LinkedIn post.
because I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, that was like what, almost 4 years ago. And I didn't know how to create a marketing funnel. I didn't know how to do a follow up. I
Until our
had
previous life.
exactly. I had no clue. And so I thought like by posting, hey, I have a cohort on my LinkedIn, like everyone is gonna come and sign up. That was like, I like, yeah, I doubted myself, but there was also one part of me that was a bit arrogant, which is I'm just gonna put it on LinkedIn and they like put it and they will all come. And that never
Everybody
happened.
will be flooding at the doors.
Exactly. I thought just like I have 5,000 subscribe or followers on LinkedIn. Of course, I'm gonna get at least 100. Of course, that did not happen. And so I had to check my ego as well after I put that and realize, first of all, many people don't see the social media post, and too many of those LinkedIn followers, it's not for them. They're it just completely. They follow me for other reasons. It does not have, they don't want to monetize their writing. They're in a different industry completely. And then, so what actually worked for me is I was enrolled in another cohort called Rite of Passage because I heard a lot about David Perel and I wanted to see what he's doing. And I actually got a scholarship to get into his cohort. And I also became an instructor in the cohort. So I was one of the instructors in his is because of my experience. And so they had like a circle community or something, and I
Mm,
just posted in the community and I said, hey, I'm running this. And people already knew me in the community. So it was so easy. So they immediately, like, I remember that day, it was, I think, Saturday night. And put it, and then the cohort was going to start on Monday. And I was worried because I had only one person, and I put it in the circle community, and I was at my friend's house, I remember. And then my phone kept like this person's side, this person's side, this person's side, and I was like, oh my god, like what is happening? Like this is actually happening. But this is because I was part of the community,
mm.
and that's how it happened. um and back then I did not, use marketing funnels and follow up and tagging, all of that complicated stuff that I taught myself how to do. But it was a good lesson that if you're a part of the community that trusts you, they're actually willing to invest in you. Putting a random social media post, hey, come buy my book or come sign my, it's not gonna work. You like, and that's why I like the Substack community because people already know me. They already know what are they gonna get. I'm always on video. They already how I look like. How I have an accent. They know where I'm from. Like all of that. It's a known quantity, especially in the age of AI. So the teaching for me was the power of community, and the community that knows you, knows your work, are willing to invest in you.
Yeah. So I think the lesson learned from that, from your stint between the LinkedIn post and the Rite of Passage committee, I think, like what you rightly say is that the difference between selling the committee is the people already know you,
Yeah.
right? So for those of you who in sometimes everyone is saying that, oh, we must have our own community,
Yeah.
right? So I think the one word that describes a good community is trust,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
And then
Exactly.
yeah, how you build trust, how you exert authority, how you come by as someone who I'm willing to put my money with. I think all this equates to building certain amount of trust, which is very important in all the communities,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And yeah, and how do you create trust within your own community?
Yeah. Uh, Honestly, like, okay, so I'll give you an example. So I'm a paid subscriber to Anferi's Substack. Why? Because I trust him. Because I've seen his work. I've seen him, uh, uh, and I for me, what I realized, especially now in the age of AI, you have to be on video. You really have to be on video, because if you just put posts, random posts here and there and notes and whatever, it's going to be really hard to build that trust, because AI could write this. You can be like anyone sitting in any part of the world pretending to be a woman from Jordan, like you can be anything. And how can you trust? So I think the only way is to show your face, to do these kind of live interaction, to be even vulnerable on camera, to talk about the successes, to sound and act and be a human being, because how people trust you. um and that for me, because I was mostly focused on the text, kind of the written word, and I was a
Yeah, I
bit
mean,
cap.
for the
Yeah,
past 30 years, you are a text
correct.
person, right?
Yeah, and I'm focused on writing and publishing, and I was not behind the camera, and I was not comfortable, honestly, behind the camera. Like many women, maybe I don't want to generalize, but like I don't look good enough, I don't sound enough, I don't sound good enough. People will make fun of me. I'm not a good speaker. Whatever, all of these limiting beliefs that you have. So I just stayed away from it, and I kept telling myself, "Oh no, being on camera is not good for me. I'm more like a text person." But you know what? Honestly, we don't have a choice anymore. AI took this away from us, and we just have to show our face. We have to show our personality. People have to hear us talk. People have to realize that we're real and we have what we pretend we are gonna give.
Yeah, I think Natasha brought a very interesting point about gaining trust here. Because I mean, by and large, I still see people in Substack complaining about life. Say, no, Substack is not meant to have life
Yeah,
and stuff like that. But I think what you mentioned is very true. That the one of the most effective ways, and it is, I mean, easily one of the most simplest way to establish trust is actually to just do a live session like this,
correct.
and it's just a push of a button. It's nothing.
I know. It's
Yeah.
it's the fear. It's the fear of being behind the camera. And I completely understand, because I was like this. I remember the first video that I did, and I showed it to my sister, and she started making fun of me because I was talking like this with a finger. You should write like this. You should do. And she was like, Natasha, you look and sound like an angry teacher. I was, so that was my first video. I didn't know anything, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. So, um, but another thing is, I also noticed people always say like you get subscribers on Substack by going notes. Everyone's saying notes, notes, notes. Honestly, for me, every time I go live, I get more subscribers than notes. And
Mm.
I think because, as I said, notes are easy to write. Just go to Claude, create a Claude skill. Yeah, create a Claude
Yeah.
skill, and then plug in something, and you have 20 notes. It's so easy, right? There's no effort. But going live is, for me, is what gets me more people who come to my community because they see me. This is it. This is what you get. and that's
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's why I go live. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, for me, I'm a super introvert. Right. So you look at me as if I'm very relaxed, but I'm like panicking every second of life.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, but I think the key is to just do it. And
Correct.
then Edgar is saying that his challenge is to find someone that want to be on life with him. Right. I
Uh,
think which I replied, if you want can do life
yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. So Edgar, I have the solution for you. So I do every once in a while. I should do it more often. I just got busy with client work. Is I do something called office hours, which is, and I actually got this idea from David McCroy from Substack.
Yeah.
He does that, and he kind of inspired me to do this. Also, Veronica Yorka Smith also does that. So the idea of office hours is, and I did it, and it was amazing. It was like, what? I'm gonna be talking to myself, like like a mad woman, in front of the camera. And so what I did, I gave it a theme. So I would say, okay, office hours. Today we're gonna talk about how ghostwriting is the golden goose of my income. And the way I did it, like I did not have a script. I had like something like this, a notepad, and I just put bullet points because I wanted to be natural. I did not want to read from a script. So I would just talk like, hi, this is how I did it. Like, hi, everyone. And I just put live and people started joining. And I said, hi, everyone. Thank you for joining my office hours today. I'm going to be talking about how ghostwriting makes 80% of my income. And then I start telling a story and and I keep saying, hey, by the way, if you please feel free to interrupt me if you have any questions. And people asked, and I did it for half an hour. Thank you very much. I took the live, turned it into a post, and then cut it into a clips. It was great. And first time I did it, like I was like, ah, okay, I'm talking to myself. But I think Veronica who told me, who told me, Natasha, make sure you have a theme to every office
Yes.
hours.
Yes.
So having a theme brought people in, and then it helped me map. It gave me a strategy, especially with those bullet points.
Yes. I think two things that is very important that you mentioned briefly. The first thing is I sort of beginning to like live a lot because if you just imagine you do one live and then it actually is the post for that week.
Correct. Yeah,
So
exactly.
so
Exactly.
you can save a lot of
Yeah.
time on that.
Exactly. Exactly. It becomes the post, and it also becomes the notes because you take the script and
Yes.
you put it in Claude,
Yeah.
and Claude skill can create notes based on the script from this. You get new subscribers, you get clips that you put on social media. You get a lot. And
Yeah.
also you learn, you build your community, you build your trust. For me, honestly, the live is like I try to do live. I try once a week at least, go with someone, and I just go on my feed, and I look for like interesting people that I want to learn from in my same field, and I invite them. I just say, hey, I DM them, and I approach them, and I send a link to my and I and what I did with all my lives, I turned it into a podcast. And so I turned all my live, and I branded them, and I called them the Substack Writer Salon. And it's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, it's on Apple Podcast. So I turned it into yet another podcast. I have another podcast. So there's like so many benefits. So I would approach people and I send them to link to my podcast, and I say, would you go live with me? This is what I do. You know, some of them are busy, but many of them say yes. So yeah, I pitch people all the time to come on
Yeah.
my live. Yeah.
Yeah, I briefly talked to Veronica about this as well, and then we both agree that Substack, the entire community is very interesting. You don't have to worry about asking someone to go on live, and then most of the people are very okay to.
Yeah.
They'll just
Go.
say, "Hey, no problem, let's go on live," and then I think,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very unique. place to be in. And then if you haven't tried, just go on live yourself, or just DM someone and then say, hey, can I go on live to talk?
Yeah.
This I
Yeah.
think 80% of the people will agree, and
Yeah. Exactly.
that's correct.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think that's something you must try about. You also mentioned, I think, what we must really emphasize is when you go on live by yourself talking about a certain topic, just make sure that you really know the topic very well,
Hmm.
right? Uh, and then why? Because this will help you to just talk without constantly referring to certain notes, and I think that will really make a whole lot of difference. It feels more natural when you just talk at by looking at the
Yeah.
camera.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I make sure that the topic that I choose is something that I know a lot about, or the guest knows about. So, for example, last week I had Gunnar Habits here, and he's the expert on making audiobooks. If you're a self-published author,
Wait,
and
I
it
was
was,
there.
you were there. Yes, I'm gonna write a post about it and send it soon, maybe tomorrow. But I learned, I mean, I was not an expert in that. I invited him to learn. And I invited him as well for everyone to learn from him. And it was amazing. I learned so much, especially how he used 11 Labs, how he uploads it, how it was filled with available info that people would pay hundreds of dollars just to learn for that. And he gave all of that for free. And I'm gonna put that in the post.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, sometimes if I do not know about the topic, I invite people to come so that I can learn and my community and my audience will learn as well.
yeah. Monica asked what's the best time to go live. My quick answer is you go to your stats, right? And then you look at the global audience. How many people are from USA? How many people are from UK? And then the best thing is you just print screen that diagram, the global diagram
Yeah.
with all, and then you just ask ChatGPT what's the best time for me to go
Oh wow.
like based
Okay.
on this. Right. So yeah, that's for
Oh
me.
wow. Yeah. I mean, I don't do that honestly. My time is very limited, so I just go live when I have time
Yeah.
because I just, like the concept of the MVP, the minimum viable product. So I just this is how I live life. I
Yeah.
MVP everything is.
Yeah, there's also another way. What I mean, because I've been doing live for the past few months, right? And the more I do, the more I realize there's particular timing, a lot of people coming.
Which is what for you?
For me, it's a Singapore time about 1 p.m.
And what's that EST?
plus
Is
8,
it
plus
1
8,
a.m.?
about 1 a.m. Yeah, about there.
Ah, okay, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Y- Guys, remember, going live is really not about your subscriber. When you go live, right, it is about the people holding on to the opening the Substack app and following you. These two criteria. They have to follow you to see your live pop up, and then they have to
Really?
yeah.
Ah, I
Because
didn't know that.
if okay, a lot of my subscriber doesn't use the app. They just open my email, which in this case they will
Ah,
probably not go on live to see me because they just don't want to download the app.
the app. Ah, I
Yeah,
see. Okay.
so there's some difference between all this. So it really takes a bit of try and error.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so just go and try it out. All right. So I have another question. Actually, I have about three more or four more. Um, this one is very interesting because you mentioned in the post that many people who completed Maven training with you never launched, right?
Correct.
So from your observation and your experience, what's the difference? Why is there?
I think fear. And I talked to one of them, and one of them actually, she posted on LinkedIn that she's gonna launch her course, and then somebody signed up and she freaked out and she put
Freaked
the
out.
course on hold. And what stops people honestly is fear. Fear is fear if you're not good enough. especially I think I don't want to be stereotypical, but I think women have that more than men. Men have this like self confidence, like male confidence, that women always
Only
doubt themselves.
confidence.
Yeah, I feel you know, men, even if they're not qualified, they say of course I can do it, and women always doubt themselves. Okay, fine, I'm being stereotypical, but you know, let's say, you know, most of the time. But I think fear stops a lot of people, which is fear of failure and fear of failure, I think. And if you reframe failure in your brain and say, if you look at failure as collecting data, if you kind of remove the word failure from your brain and say, I'm just collecting data. So if I launch, and I launched many things and nobody bought and nobody came and whatever, was I upset? Yeah. But as I said, because I worked as a journalist for 30 years and I'm used to the feedback, is if you reframe it as, okay, so why did not anyone buy this product? Or why didn't anyone sign up for this cohort? Why? And I look, oh, okay, my marketing was bad. My offer was not clear. I targeted the wrong people. I was selling hot dogs to vegans, for example. You know, like I went to a vegan town and I had a hot dog truck. Nobody's gonna buy from it. So look at the data and see how you can iterate the next time. And if you always have the worst case scenario in mind, just keep the end in mind. im- you conquer the fear. So I was like, what is the worst thing that's gonna happen? Okay, what's the worst thing that can happen? Are you gonna go to jail if you if if you launch and nobody sign up? No. Are people gonna put you in the town square and shame you in public? No. Like, what is the worst that's gonna happen? Nothing. I mean, the worst is people don't like it. Fine, I'll refund them and I'll move on. And I think when you have the worst case scenario, it helps you overcome that fear.
Yep. So I think I mean, if we are being fair about the whole thing, we have to agree that um if 100 people went through the course, some will not complete,
Correct.
some will
Correct.
complete but never do anything. It's a normal thing, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think if any one of you are interested to become an instructor, whether it's on demand or live, I think it is very important for you to be mindful of this type of statistics. Course
Yeah.
in during a course, you want to try your best to be uh, you want to cause the impact and the transformation for your participants
Yeah.
as much as possible. But we
Yeah.
have to be very honest about this that not 100% will complete the whole thing.
Correct. And some people honestly pay and don't show up. I had people I had people pay for cohorts, pay for like master classes, and they just did not show up. They
Yeah.
said they're just gonna look at the recording, but I don't know if they even did. But I mean, you have to expect that.
Yeah. So for those who sometimes uh especially facilitators, trainers, they say, oh no, nobody come, and then don't feel bad. You got to just push on. There
Yeah.
are people
Yeah.
who are just like that,
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
right? So okay, this part is very interesting as well because you said you tear up when the first student sign up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you describe that feeling again? What made you, the especially that moment when you someone sign up? Was it relief? Was it validation? You know?
It was for me when the first person signed up, I suddenly saw opportunities I never saw before. Suddenly, like I know I'm sounding dramatic, but suddenly a whole new world opened in front of my eyes that I never thought it existed. I never thought it existed. I never thought it was in the books for me. I thought this is something other people do. And yeah, like suddenly I realized that it was like there was before and after, and that was the moment is the first time somebody paid for me directly to sign up, I realized there's a new phase of my life, and it's gonna be a very exciting one.
Yeah. So for those of you who has followed me throughout this entire first digital dollar project, you know I keep emphasizing that this is the moment where you realize what is possible.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
And
Correct.
before that is so interesting because the before and after is still the same human, is still the same Natasha.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then just
Clicks.
something just click, and then you suddenly
Yeah.
say, "Wow, what else can I do?"
Exactly. And you realize that the opportunities are endless, and the only that nothing can stop you, and you
Yeah,
become
and if you
unstoppable.
recall,
Yeah.
if you recall, it's so interesting, right? Because the moment before that, you were like, "Am I doing this correct? Should I
Correct.
stop? Should I stop? Should I
Yeah.
just go back to 9 to 5? Should I just,
Correct. 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 And yeah, and yeah, suddenly it's like validating, and suddenly you realize that I trusted the process, and the process worked. And before I was not trusting the process. I was like, I'm bluffing, or I'm just I'm following the guidance of like uh, somebody who's trying to scam me, what do you call them? Like a snake oil salesman or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
I know, fake guru,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So and then for those of you who follow me throughout the whole entire is coming end of 3 months already, you realize that even though all the previous Natasha is a 12 contributor, you realize even though everybody sell different things, everybody does different things, everybody go through different journeys, but their moment is the same before and after.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
Everybody says the same thing. Even
Yeah.
Veronica says the same thing. Taylor
Yeah.
says the same thing. I think it's so. This is the very very interesting part about this
Yeah.
project.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure.
So what do you do after that? The moment you have your first student,
So what I did, I continued running cohorts, and as I said, I started increasing the price of cohorts.
your first cohort is how many students?
I think I said 9. I put it in the
No,
article. I
I
think
know it's not like it's not 100 lah.
no, no, no. It was like 9. And that was the first one. But then I started doing cohorts different. I started doing ghostwriting cohort, which like a different topic, and I increased the price. I increased it to $500. And that was harder to sell because it was a niche topic, one, and it was also expensive. But I had people that signed up, but then I put the cohort on hold and I focused on other stuff. I mean, selling cohorts is really hard. Honestly, it's not easy
Mm,
because people have to commit. And I switched more to doing some client work and book coaching.
mm.
And
Which
and I
one
also
is which one
yeah.
works best?
So in terms of ghostwriting, books is a higher ticket because it usually takes a year, and it can range from like 20K to 30K because it's a whole year project.
Mm,
Um, but it involves a lot of work. Book coaching is less work, but the it's a lower
but you got to
ticket.
handhold them
Yeah, I have to
and then
handhold them.
and then
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
cane
Exactly.
them if they don't write.
So everyone, one has its pluses and minuses. So it depends, and I always like assess and iterate and pivot and like, like, shall I continue with this? Should I, and I always try to improve and change. But the same core business of what I do is the same, which is publishing and writing, and that would never change because that's what I do, right? But the
Mm,
offer itself, I keep improving on it and changing it depending on, I mean, the market changes itself every day, and we have to be aware of that and iterate as we go.
How do you have you met clients who say, why should I hire you when I can get AI to write for me?
Yeah, I haven't met that anyone, because if they won't even jump on a call with me if they think AI is gonna do that for them. But when it comes to writing your memoir, AI cannot write your memoir. Sorry,
Mm,
because AI does not know your story, and you need someone to get the story out of you. And one of my kind of strong, one of my strengths is the art of the interview,
mm,
especially when it comes to ghostwriting, because I was trained this as a journalist. And if you want to ghostwrite somebody's memoir, you have to have a skilled journalist who can get the information out of you, and not after get it realize what matters and what does not matter.
mm,
And that kind of skill of 25 years of interviewing people, AI cannot do it.
mm.
No matter how you try, no matter how advanced you are. And also, people cry in front of me when they talk about their life. AI is not gonna know how to handle this.
Mm.
AI is not gonna know how to handle tears. It's not gonna, it's, you need a human being to do that. Sorry,
Yep.
there's no way.
So
Yeah,
you also mentioned you recently don't do as much of the Maven already.
yeah.
How many cohorts you done?
I think 5. I think I
Like
did
cohort.
5 cohorts. Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
so now what do you do now? You focus more on ghostwriting and
Ghostwriting and book coaching. Yeah, that's I think for me the Maven is because it needs a lot of marketing work, right?
oh yeah, you mentioned you have to do your
You
own.
have to, yeah, I like, it's a lot of marketing. um and I don't have time with it because I'm buried in client work, which is a good problem to have. I think when the client work, um if I have more time, I might get back to it and do it on the side. But I just, it's still there. I mean, and people still join my waiting list on Maven, and I have a waiting list that I use. And it builds my email list because I have their email addresses.
Mm.
So it's a good tactic to do that. You should try it actually. Go and apply and become an instructor. I bet you do. There's a lot about stuff about AI. Actually, most of their courses now are AI
Yeah, I
focused.
realized
Yeah,
there
yeah,
are quite a number of AI there as well.
yeah, yeah.
Right. So
Um,
so now you do more of ghostwriting or coaching?
uh, so currently I have one, two memoirs that I'm working on, and I have um, four book coaching clients.
Mm,
And then I do ghostwriting for small things like not memoirs, like newsletters,
mm,
um, uh, mostly newsletters on the side. And I also sometimes get asked to do like private consulting, like training, which
mm,
I do. And also, what happened is people who they finish their books, they ask me to help them self-publish. So that's
mm,
another service that I help people self-publish their book, like how to
mm.
navigate the KDP, Amazon KDP, and all of that.
So you
So
help them go to
correct.
Kindle.
So I
Kindle.
have, yeah, so I have an editor and a book designer, and we do all of that for them, and then put their books on KDP and Ingram Spark. And I just started doing that this year, and
Mm,
I'm doing that for two clients. One of them
right.
was a book coach client, so I'm doing that too.
Yeah. So if you look back at when you first started with the cohort and Maven, right, and then all the way until now, and then you just say that now you have even people asking you to write ghostwrite for posts. You know the transition points, right? Was there any
Yeah,
significant point that leads to this transition? Like suddenly say, oh, I should do ghostwriting, or right from the initially you already have plans. That means was it a planned move or was it like opportunity
yeah.
based? How?
Yeah,
So,
for me, I think the biggest thing was to have a consistent income, not consistent, but like a consistent cash flow. And I realize I cannot depend on cohorts alone.
mm,
And with ghostwriting, you either like sign a retainer or you have a project for a whole year at least. So that keeps your cash flow and reduces the stress. But if you depend all your income on who signs up for your cohorts, it's pretty stressful because you cannot guarantee that, and people come and go, and it's
or
just
they
not
ask for
enough,
refund.
honestly. Or ask for refund and all of that. And I had somebody ask for refund because they said my plans changed. I was like, fine, here's your refund. uh and you lose money, by the way, when you give them refund
Yeah,
because you get
the
all the
transaction
fees,
fee is
the
gone.
transaction fees, so you lose money, which is okay. But it's part of, the price of doing business. um but yeah, you realize that you cannot just depend on cohorts. It's not sustainable. And it, like, cohorts and other stuff should be like kind of one of the income streams, but not the main income stream.
Yeah, right. So I think it's also because of the need for diversification of the revenue sources. Then you at some point you decided to add on this, add on that.
Correct. Or be more strategic about the offer, and that the offer will make my business sustainable financially. And to do that, I had to have a consistent high ticket offer that
Mm,
would keep my business alive.
yeah. I'm not sure about you, but you heard me say this before. I always say most of the time I have no idea whether anything works at all.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So so
Yeah.
my trick which I share all the time is that if I don't know whether it works or not, I just launch it and then
Exactly. And see.
immediately I know if it works.
Yeah, and you would be surprised the things that actually work really well and the things that don't work well. Like, sometimes you launch something really small and then people really like that. While the thing that you spend so much time building and nobody wants it.
Yeah.
And it happens, yeah. Yeah.
And the truth is you don't know.
You don't know. You don't know. You have to launch and see. And this is actually what, for example, people like Apple, when they launch their product, they usually, most of the time, they're half baked, right? Apple products, they like, they launched the first iPhone, and then there's like all these missing features, and then they see, and then they copy from Android, and then they launch the second one, and then they launch the third, and like gradually they start adding features by testing what people want and then imitating. And that's kind of a strategy that they do, and they call it beta, or they call it whatever they call it. And they're like the Apple like fanboys or whatever. They're willing to go through that journey with them
Yeah.
because they're like fans, so they're willing to be kind of test cases for them.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Um Last two questions. This one very quick one because in you also wrote the poem by Invictus and the captain of my soul and the master of my fate,
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how does this poem mean to you personally as a
Yeah, this poem means to me is you have agency and you have ownership over your life, and that would take away the victim mentality. And when you realize that you are the captain of your ship, and um, you own whatever happens to you, it takes away the victim mentality, and you are in charge of whatever happens to you. And um, and in charge of all the circumstances that happens and your reaction to those circumstances. So for me, it's also mirrors the Stoicism philosophy, and which is because playing the victim all the time is a recipe for disaster, and it's definitely not a recipe for disaster. It's just ownership and agency, ownership over my actions, ownership over, and the fact that I'm the captain of the ship of my life, regardless of the circumstances. And realizing that, changes many things on how you view our life journey on Earth.
Well done. So the last question is for those of you, there are 34 of viewers here. There are some who have not launched a product. There are some who have launched but didn't make any sale. There are some who are still contemplating to launch or not. What advice do you have for this group of people?
Okay, so the advice is you're gonna be afraid, okay? And that's fine. You're gonna launch a product and nobody's gonna buy it, which is fine. And you're gonna send posts and nobody's gonna comment, which is fine. And you have to trust the process and realize that actually the process works. And follow people who they've done it. Like Anfari, for example, he's done it and he's not scamming you. He's like, watch what he's doing. He just followed the process. And by trusting the process, and you realize that the process takes time, you're not gonna suddenly launch a post and have 5,000 subscribers. That's not gonna happen. You have to be consistent, you have to be patient, you have to trust yourself, and you have to trust the process. And look at failure as collecting data, and keep at it until it works. And also take care of yourself. While you're doing that, which is I try to work out 5 times a week if I can, journal, walk in the woods. Like when I feel frustrated, I take my dog and I do like forest bathing. That's what the Japanese call it, in the woods, and
I
I
saw
just
quite a number
take,
of your notes.
yeah,
Okay.
about me and my dog. Yeah, because just take care of yourself. You have to take care of the infrastructure, which is you, which is mentally, physically, all of that. You have to take care of that in order to produce, in order to be productive, in order to be happy. So do not ignore yourself, and you realize you have to take care of yourself as well while you're doing this, because what we're doing is not conventional. What we're doing, we're not following a 9 to 5. We're following an unconventional path. We're following a pathless path. And to do that, you have to take care of yourself.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much for your time. We have come to the end. As promised, it will always be the 1 hour live. And for those of you who have not subscribed to Natasha's newsletter, just click on the button on the top of the screen and then subscribe to her, subscribe to me if you haven't, right? And then why? Because the on demand of this post, this live will be sent out within the next 24 hours. All right. So if nothing else, Natasha, thank you for your time. Thank you for
Thank you
joining
so
me.
much.
Um, I am planning one whereby I get all 20 of us come together
Oh,
in
wow, that's
in
fun.
one
Yeah.
Zoom. All right. It's going to be a tough one.
That is
I'll,
fun. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I will try my best. All right. If not, thank you for your time. Thank you for joining me. All right. Thank you, everyone. 35 of you for joining us. Thank you for so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye,
Thank
Natasha.
you so much. Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.